So in what order do you apply makeup? The answer to that question is pretty simple. You apply it in the order that you prefer. There's no right or wrong way of applying makeup and there are no rules. But because you asked, today I'm going to be showing you what order I follow to apply makeup to get a flawless finished look. So if you're ready, let's begin. I'm done with my morning skincare routine, and if you want to know the order for skincare routine, I'm going to link that down below in the description box. Next, I'm going to apply a primer. This is the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. There's two reasons I start with a primer. One, because it fills in all the pores and fine lines, so it covers up everything and gives you that smooth surface. And it also feels very tacky on the skin. So when you apply anything over this, it'll cling on to your skin for longer, which means it'll make your makeup long lasting. Next, I'm going to be using a foundation over this. The one that I'm using, the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Praline. I'm going to dot it around my face and blend it out with a damp sponge. I'm keeping today's tutorial basic and informative. If you want to go one notch up, you can also use a color corrector before the foundation. If you have a lot of dark circles and hyperpigmentation, you can either use a peach or an orange corrector over it, blend it out, and then use a foundation over it. What we have now is a flat blank surface. You can create any type of art with this. The first thing that I'm going to do is create some depth and dimension, and for that I'll be using a cream contour. I'm just using a deeper shade of concealer here. This is from Colourpop in the shade 200N. I like this concealer because it blends well with any foundation, and I'm going to use this in areas where my face naturally casts a shadow. Basically, what I'm doing here is applying it in areas where my face has those shadows and hollows to intensify it further to create that dimension. That's going to be mostly around the circumference of the face and the hollows of my cheekbones, in my jawline, as well as to contour my nose. A part of adding dimension is to also bring some of your prominent features forward. And for that, I'm going to be using a concealer. This is the L'Oreal Fresh Wear. This is a waterproof matte concealer in the shade Amber. I'm going to start with my dark circles to conceal it, and then I'm going to use it in my highest planes to bring it forward or to highlight it. I'm going to blend it out with a damp sponge. You can also use a dry sponge, but it's a little bit harder to blend with dry sponge. So I'm using a damp sponge here. And after I finish blending, you'll see that my face doesn't look flat anymore because it has the contour and highlights, which means it has more depth and dimension. I'm going to lightly set my face with the Makeup Forever setting powder. Now, some people prefer powder, some people don't. It's totally your choice. For me, I usually set it only in areas where my concealer tends to crease, which is mostly around my eyes, mouth, and in the T-zone. And some people like absolute full coverage. For that, you can most definitely set your entire face with it. It's time to warm up the face further. So I'm going to be using a bronzer. The one that I'm using is the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. Bronzers give that sun-kissed look. So I'm going to be using it where the sun kisses me naturally, which is my cheekbones as well as forehead. Now, sometimes I get done with my eye makeup before I use the bronzer. That way, if there's any fallouts, I clean it up quickly, fix my base makeup before I apply blush. But I just want to keep it really basic and simple today, and I want to show you what I do more often, and this is what I do. Next, I'm going to be using a blush. This is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Blush in the shade But First Coffee. Then I'm going to be using a highlighter that goes right above your blush. And the one that I'm using is the Milani Strobe Light Instant Glow in the shade Day Glow. Next, I'm going to be filling in my brows. I'm using the Precisely My Brow from Benefit in the shade 5. I just like to apply the lipstick at the very end because I don't want to by mistake touch the lipstick while doing other things and spoil my base makeup. So I do it at the very end. If you haven't primed your lids either with a concealer or a primer, this is the time. After you're done with your eyebrows, you can clean up underneath the brows as well as prime the lids. But I have already done it because I use the concealer all around my eyes, so I'm going to skip that step. Next is eye makeup, and I'm going to keep it really simple today because the focus is on technique and not really an eyeshadow palette. The one that I'll be using is the 4-way Everyday Shadow Palette from House Labs, and this is what I've been using every single day. I'm going to start with Cafe au Lait. This is going to be my transition shade, so I'm going to be applying it at the crease with a blending brush. Then with coffee, I'm going to increase the intensity in my outer corners, and then I'm also going to smoke it out in my lower lash line. Using Sugar Please, I'm going to fill in the rest of my lid. This eye makeup is so easy and looks so elegant for every day. It literally takes me 2 minutes, and it makes it easier with the palette because it only has 4 eyeshadows. I'm also going to use Sugar Please to highlight my brow bones. And then with Late With Me, I'm going to use it in the very inner corners so it gives me that pop of highlight. And then I finish up with a mascara. And I'm really obsessed with the Bare Minerals Strength and Length Mascara. 1, because it's serum infused. 2, because it gives me the most natural looking lashes, but filled in, and it looks absolutely stunning, especially if you're going to use it for every day. I would highly recommend this mascara. And for lipstick, I'm using the Jane Iredale Beyond Matte Lip Fixation. This is in the shade Cherish. This is a vegan and cruelty-free brand. Love the color, and it is transfer proof and smudge proof. I have my mask on pretty much throughout the day, and this doesn't transfer. The final step is to lock the makeup just so it stays put, it doesn't move, and stays looking fresh throughout the day. And for that, I'm using a setting spray. The one that I'm using is the Benefit Super Setter. I love the fine mist on this. You can use whatever you have. Just like you would use a hair setting spray for your hair, this works exactly like that. It forms a thin layer over your makeup. You can't even see it, and then it'll hold your makeup in place. It won't let it move. And at the same time, if you have any excess powder sitting on top of your face, it's going to melt all that and give you a more skin-like finish. That is it, my friends, and here is the completed look. This is the order that I follow most regularly, and I change up a thing here and there, and again, there's no right or wrong. You do what you prefer and what you're comfortable with. But I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to thumbs up, and do check out the description box for all the products that I used today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon with a brand new one. Bye guys.